This video was based on the series Alien Worlds on Netflix. I definitely recommend giving it a watch. If you want 20% off your first 3 months of Netflix, sign up using our link in the... Wait, what's that? Netflix doesn't sponsor us? Darn. Well, we might not have a sponsorship, but what we do have are planets. Tons of them. There are more than 400 billion planets in our galaxy, and even if only 1 in a million were habitable, that would leave us with more than a million worlds teeming with life. When we search the cosmos for life, we usually search for planets that look like Earth. After all, if Earth can support life, why couldn't a similar planet? But not all planets look like Earth. Just in our solar system, there are planets 20 times smaller and 100 times bigger, and some far warmer and others far colder. With the diversity of planets, it's worth asking, what would life look like on alien worlds? 5,000 light years away lies a ringed world more than double the size of Earth, with twice as much gravity. This is Atlas. How would life adapt to such a heavy world? With twice the gravity, trees can't stand up tall like they do on Earth, and instead stay close to the surface. But yet, seeds can float through the sky. That's because gravity here is so strong, air molecules are densely packed together, creating a thick, buoyant atmosphere that allows seeds to drift across the planet. And where there are seeds, there are sky grazers, giant herbivores with wings that ride on the dense pillows of air. They're heavier than any bird on Earth, but the thick atmosphere and long wings keep them airborne, aided by the updrafts of wind across the planet's rugged features. Like albatrosses here on Earth, they use these updrafts to conserve energy and can float without needing to flap their wings. But herbivores don't always have a peaceful life. As on Earth, grazers attract predators. Using hydrogen to produce bacteria to inflate their air sacs, these predators can become lighter than the air and take to the skies. Like hyenas hunting elephants here on Earth, these predators alone are no match for their prey. They're far too small. So instead, they hunt in a pack, waiting for a sky grazer to stray from the group. When they've found a target, they expel their gas and attack from above. Landing on the grazer, the predators make their move, deploying their cupped wings to create drag. Enough drag to pull the sky grazer right out of the air. But if a grazer can shake off these predators, they take to the skies. There, males compete for females. Males' oversized tails are a handicap, making it harder to fly. But to the females, they're a sign of good genes. These traits are an example of sexual dimorphism. If a male can support such an extravagant waste of biological energy, they must have strong genes. Genes that would be ideal for a mate. We see these energy-intensive traits all the time on Earth, from peacocks' extravagant plumage to orangutans' cheek flaps to lions' glorious manes, all part of an effort to prove to picky females that you've got the good stuff. When the time comes for a female to lay her eggs, she'll have to come down to land, but because of the increased gravity, she's too heavy to launch herself back into the sky. The only time one of these herbivores will ever see the ground is at the start and end of their lives, so to create new life, she has to give up her own. When the babies eventually hatch, they'll need to get off the ground and into the air. Diving off the planet's rocky cliffs, they can give just enough momentum to take to the skies. But they're not alone. Like 12-year-olds in a Call of Duty lobby, predators lie trying to spawn camp. Boneless creatures with no skeleton to give them form kill by enveloping and dissolving their prey. The young sky grazers sit on the brink of the cliff, right on the edge of danger. But they have no choice. They have to fly. Even here, we can find similarities to Earth. Barnacle geese protect their young from predators by nesting high on cliffs, but this strategy has a drawback. To start their lives, young geese must survive a harrowing fall, usually hundreds of feet. As soon as 24 hours after hatching, goslings need to leave the nest to feed on grass, which their parents won't feed them. To get to the grass, the birds must plummet from their high-altitude nests. Survival can be a game of chance, but still, life goes on from one generation to the next, at least for now. The strong gravity of Atlas pulls asteroids onto a collision course. Most will burn up in the atmosphere, but there's a constant threat that something big will get through and reset the course of life on the planet. If a big enough asteroid hits Atlas, the skygrazers and predators would be doomed. They're just too specialized to cope with change. The generalists are the boneless scavengers. Like crocodiles, they'll eat anything and live anywhere. And like our mammal ancestors after the fall of the dinosaurs, in this imagined high-gravity world, they could be the great survivors. This is how these circumstances could give rise to life on this imagined alien world. But what would life look like under other circumstances? Across the galaxy, we find a red dwarf star, the most common type of star in our galaxy. Imagine a planet in such a close orbit that its rotation is locked by the star's gravity, so it always shows the same face to its sun, like how we only ever see the same side of the moon. This is Janus. How would life adapt to such an extreme world? On one side of the planet, it's always daytime, a searing desert. On the other side, it's forever night, a frozen shadowland. Squeezed in between the two, a sliver of perpetual twilight. Running water flows from the cold side, carving canyons through the landscape. Even here, where the planet is most hospitable, there's little vegetation. But deep in these canyons lives an extraordinary five-legged creature, a pentapod. No bigger than a cat, it's the dominant life form on Janus, capable of adapting to any conditions, masters of polyphenism, when a single species can display multiple forms based on its needs and surroundings. We see polyphenism all across Earth. In an ant colony, there are soldiers, workers, and a queen. An ant colony depends on the division of labor. Different castes have different jobs, and they come in all shapes and sizes. We can see that even within the same species, ants can look wildly different, but they all started from the same larva. All ants in a colony are closely related. They share most of the same genes. But as they grow up, some genes are switched on and others are switched off, all depending on the food they're fed. This is what makes ants so cool. Any of the ants could become a worker, forger, or soldier. Like ants, pentapods are able to develop into different forms. On the cold side, pentapods are stocky and hairy. On the hot side, they're shiny, slender, and skittish. They become whatever they need to be to survive. With 5 legs, pentapods can skitter in any direction, and with 10 eyes, nothing escapes their sight. If they sense a meal, they use feelers to root it out, and their venom to paralyze their prey. But hunting alone is risky. Sometimes the hunter can become the hunted. Even a venomous predator is powerless against a swarm. Meanwhile, on the cold side of the planet, things are just as tough. In perpetual darkness, and with no energy from the sun, how can anything survive? All life needs some form of energy. On the hot side of Janus, energy comes in the form of sunlight, and on the cold face, it comes from deep within the planet, as volcanic pressure forces water to the surface in geothermal vents. Here, pentapods are after the grubs that gather around these geothermal pools. But hunting grubs isn't so easy. The grubs have evolved a self-defense. When frightened, they jump and flash a warning signal to the others, working together to stay alive. In life, we often see competitive arms races, when two species are constantly forcing each other to evolve to survive. As crabs ate mollusks, over time, the mollusks evolved to have thicker shells, which forced the crabs to evolve more powerful claws. Over millennia, both forced the other to get stronger and stronger. On Janus, the grubs evolved light to stay alive, but over time, life found a way.
Life, finds a way.
And their system was hacked. Bioluminescence originally evolved among fireflies as a warning to predators that they were packed with toxins and should be avoided at all costs. But today, that same mechanism is used for finding a mate. The firefly produces light from an organ on its abdomen, called a lantern. Male fireflies will fly around flashing their lights looking for a mate. The females are waiting on the ground below. When they see a male they like, they flash back. This means if your parents ever took you to watch fireflies in a field at night, you were basically peeping on a sex club. But using light to communicate is inherently risky, and some species have evolved to create fake signals. This is a predatory firefly. We can tell it's a different species by examining their lantern. It has a different shape to it. But to a male firefly, it's nearly identical. So when a male flies by and flashes, this predatory firefly flashes back to get the male to come over. But they don't want a mate, they want a meal. This is a classic example of a predator using mimicry, one species copying the behavior of another. Back here on Janus, pentapods have mastered the art of mimicry. By catching a few grubs, the pentapods absorb their bioluminescence and copy their warning signals. The grubs instinctively jump away from flashing lights, but this time it's a trap. The pentapods have them right where they want them. Again, adaptability is the secret to their survival. Despite light years between these planets, life across the universe needs the same basics to survive: food and a reason to reproduce. Despite the vast differences in life forms, these common needs could result in some remarkable similarities across the cosmos. If you like this video and want to see a part 2 on what life would look like on 2 more imaginary worlds, be sure to let us know in the comment section below. And remember, there is always more to learn.